All right, guys, now I'm going to show you guys how to properly clean and dust off desks, cabinets if needed, and of course chairs as well. So of course, first thing I like to do is give a nice thorough wipe on the backs of the seats. Most likely you're gonna have to take a knee and get down. Of course, make sure you're wiping off all mechanics and whatever that holds the chairs, screws and whatnot, chair handles, and of course bases around the legs as well. And of course the insides in between the legs and under. Of course, if needed, wheels, just the outside. If you see any buildup, do a nice fold on the inside. Make sure you're wiping under the seats, mechanic screws, everything. And now basically, once you get to the arms of the unders, you basically want to pull yourself back up in between crevices, adjust the chair through, get to the other side. Of course, if you need to, get into those tighter spots, you can always just give it a nice little fold just to get in between these specific areas. Same thing with this side. Start from the bottom, work your way up to the arm, between the crevices, tops, and of course onto the other side of the arm. Then now, give yourself a follow through with the seating. And as you can tell, I'm not brushing it back because I started from the back. I'm brushing it forward, pushing everything forward, as well as backs of seats. I'm just pushing it down. Edges, corners of the backs and fronts. And then now, the next thing is most likely give a thorough scan. What I like to do is usually start from top to bottom, work our way down. So if anything, if you can get distance to the partitions, definitely wipe that off, push down, because this is gonna be your next platform that you're gonna be dusting off or instead of wiping off. Now of course, I'm basically starting from back to front. Back to front. Of course, make sure you get behind it if accessible. Make sure you're getting all of the sidings. As you can tell, what I did on that side, I'm just pushing it through across and then pushing it back down. Of course, be mindful, look under, make sure there's no cobweb buildup or any dust residuals. Certain linings right here most likely will have to be dusted off because these are areas that most likely people do not get into or need to touch. Therefore, that's where the dust just loves to live. Now at this point, I'm pushing everything onto the desk. Same thing with this side. Moving across, wiping down. Of course, again, if you have to, move your chair out the way so you don't trip or hurt yourself. And now at this point, basically, as if you're reading a book or reading any signs, left to right. Start from the back, push to the front. And of course, if there's accessibility to get in between, make sure we're getting all in between that as well. Once again, everything's been pushed from the back to the front. Swipe everything down to the carpets. Same thing as well with this. If you have to, be careful not to unplug anything or mishandle or be too rough with cordings. Just a slight little lift. Push everything back, moving back to front. Sometimes, of course, without having to fully move it, kind of just like to lift it up just a little bit just so I can tuck my towel under. Push something back. Of course, get in between desktop monitor holders as well. Now at this point, both of these tops of these desktop monitors are going to accumulate some type of dust. So of course, be very mindful of it. Same thing again, starting left to right, push down. Of course, with the backs, be very careful again with the wiring. And if you have to, try your very best to be very careful when having to lift up the keyboards. As you can tell, I'm not necessarily moving anything out the way. I'm just basically trying to make some space for myself. And if anything, if you have to move certain things, which you shouldn't have to, but if needed, definitely always be mindful of where everything was at. Of course, like I said, in this case, lift it up, the keyboard, push down if needed. Nice little swipe. Sometimes you lift it up at a vertical stance, just push everything down. Again, same thing as I'm using with the desk. Start from the back, pushing to the front. Get behind, keyboards, edges, centers. Again, push everything down through. Same thing with this side. Just not really necessarily moving things, just lifting a few things up just so I can get a full accessibility of it. Again, I'm pushing everything, starting from the back, pushing everything down, moving specific cordings if needed, but not necessarily moving it fully out of the way. In this case, if there's headsets or whatnot, you just want to basically just slightly just move your way through without moving the headset itself or the headset console. Again, starting from the back, pushing everything through to the front. Of course, electrical outlets, just a slight little dusting. Don't have to put too much pressure. And again, make sure we're getting all the backs, corners, and edges of desks. Now, of course, a lot of these desks are going to have their cabinets, shelves, or whatever it is, most likely where any fingerprints would be accessible. So, of course, start from the top, push it through, push it to the bottom. Same thing with this. So I'm starting from left to right and swipe down. Of course, make sure you're getting under where fingerprints would be or hands would be to make sure that all of that dust is dissipating. And of course, as well, make sure you're looking under desk. Most likely, there's not going to be a lot of buildup of dust on here, but you will be surprised. So, if anything, start from the edges, work your way through. Start from the edges, work your way through. And table legs. Same thing with this. Pushing it down if you need to. Of course, if you can't get to it, most likely it's not accessibility. So, of course, move yourself to a different location just to get everything off. Of course, make sure you're dusting off legs as well, because most likely that's where a good amount of the dust buildup would be. Same thing with leg holders. Start from the back and push down. Edges. Oh. Of course, if there's any wiring, be sure to remove those wirings. Same thing with the legs right here. Make sure you get the back of it very well. Top to bottom, back to front as well. With the edges of this as well. Same thing, same formation with this cabinet. Start from the back, push everything forward. If needed, make sure you're getting all the sides as well. Left to right, push down. Left to right, push down. Under. Now that is how you should properly dust the tops and under desks. And of course, course, shelves, cabinets, whatever it is, wherever you can just imagine where your hands would be if this was your desk. Most likely that's where most of the fingerprints or dust buildup will be. Then once you're done, make sure you push your chair in. All chairs must be pushed in at the end of the night or when done cleaning specific cubicles. And of course, make sure you're getting all your partitions if needed. And again, once again, start from the back and just push your way through the front. And just like this, like I said, top to bottom. And push all of that residual dust onto the carpet. And then once ready to vacuum, all that dust will be vacuumed up. And that's exactly it.